Hi, this video is for Josh here. I'm displaying the roughly entry-level Fortnite-ready PC. You can see the specs on here. This has 8 gigs of RAM, a dual-core i3-2120 processor. This one specifically has an HD 6770 graphics card. That'll change depending on what I have available. But I guarantee frames per second at certain settings, so it's not really relevant. It's sort of whatever deal I can get on at the same time. Let's do an exhibition on Rocket League. And we're playing at high quality settings for pretty much everything at 1920 by 1080. Actually, let me open up a frames counter so you can see how many frames per second we get here. So top left hand corner, we're getting about 50. I'm not very good at this game, by the way. Oh, my goodness. But you can say it plays pretty much perfectly, almost max settings. Rocket League's a very easy game to play, so that's not that impressive. But let's go to Fortnite. Fortnite's a little bit more demanding, but it should still play just fine. And again, ensure you have a 1080p monitor. If you have less than a 1080p monitor, like 720p, or you're using an old TV, you will get better performance because your resolution is not as large. This usually always takes a little bit to load up. It's kind of the sacrifice with using an i3 dual-core processor, although you will not see much performance decrease in games. Loading takes a little bit longer than you would get on, any mid-range to upper-tier gaming system. But I define playable as generally 45 plus frames. As long as you never drop below 45 frames per second, that's solid for most competition style games. I'm going to load in a... now you don't have to stick with this. I'll see if I can move in the computer to a frame, but I don't want to ruin it. The camera's on a stand, so I don't want to move it. But a lot of the times they are easily upgradable if you want to spend an extra $30 to get a better graphics card, or if you wanted to go to a quad-core i5 CPU, it's usually about an extra $30. So it's pretty customizable, but I just run with what I think you need, the minimum I think you need to play. So let's go ahead and turn... Looks like we're at 720p right here. I'm going to go ahead and change that. That's better. Textures high, medium here, low. Alright, these should be pretty good settings. Again, this is 1080p. It always looks a little bit better than my camera because I'm doing a recording, but I could do a screen capture, but there's always performance degradation on low-end desktops when you do a screen capture, so I try to avoid it, as this better reflects the gameplay, even though it may not necessarily reflect the visuals, but what I can do is I can actually take a picture of what it looks like in-game. Let's so I'm gonna go ahead and hit, yeah, here we go. Let me see what our screen capture button is here. F10. So when we get to the ground, I'm going to hit F10 and you'll watch it in the video, and then I'll send this to you. I'll send you the screenshot so you can get an accurate visual of what it looks like if I can survive. We're still loading in the ground textures, so our frames are dipping to 30. Which is okay, but once we hit the ground and everything's loaded in, it should be good to go. We can also reduce the graphics settings, so... I'm going to go ahead and take a screenshot here. There. That was a little unfair of me, but that's all right. I play PUBG more specifically, so let's see if I can get some snipes. So we're still around 30, so that's fine. Let me go ahead and change these settings here. Let's turn motion blur off, textures down. Does that help? Yeah, sometimes every card has their own thing here. Well, let me go ahead and turn that back on just so we know. See if that helps. I'm sure I'll play with it. I'll mess with it later. But, I just want to kill this guy first. This PC would go for about 220. And includes everything I showed you in the video before. I know you're in here. Wow. All right, you friggin' win. But yeah, that'll be all right.